Recently, while taking pictures and doing research for another video, I was approached by a former supervisor of mine. I've worked with him for many years, and his opinion has meant something to me in the past. And he only had a single question for me. He said, "Are you a guard?" I said, "Well, I used to be. I worked at Marion for 23 years as a guard." He said, "No, you were a correctional officer." I said, yeah, that's what the official term is from the Bureau of Prisons, but most people would just know me as a guard. And he said, "No, you're perpetuating a stereotype by saying that." And he says, now, he was very complimentary, and he is an intelligent and reflective man. So the things that he says, I would put a lot of weight on. I would listen to him. Now, he said, "You know, we used to use the past to predict the future." And I said, "Yeah, that's what we did." And he was always wanting me to look beyond the obvious. And he says that's what's going on here. I like to use the word guard, and it's conveying that we're the people that his grandfather was. He's third generation correctional officer. And he said back in those days, you know, we didn't do anything that was really law enforcement. We made sure that nobody escaped, and we made sure that the thugs didn't kill themselves and they got fed. That's what we did. There was no rehabilitation. There was no investigation like we do today of crimes that happen inside the prison. There was no prevention of crimes. What do we care? So some guy got stabbed, whatever. Anybody hit the fence, they got shot off. That's the only things that we done then when we were guards. But now that we're correctional officers, you know, we have the same arrest authorities as the FBI does on the prison grounds or the U.S. Marshals. We've actually had people that have worked as police officers on the streets of LA that were in the Bureau of Prisons at the time that they were there. They were seconded to the Los Angeles police, you know, and we, as such, we did the same police powers that they had. Now, beyond all that, today, correctional officers, they're a part of community policing. You know, I mean, you hear that bantered around, community policing. It's supposed to be that the police are part of your community, and we are a part of your community. We're helping to keep you safe. We provide intelligence to the police on the streets. We investigate murders and large drug rings that the perpetrators have gotten away with it, at least for a while, and they're inside the prison, and we keep our ears open. And many crimes have been solved from inside the fence. You know, today, most of our inmates are going to go see the streets again. They're going to be out there with you, and we need to re-educate and rehabilitate them. And that's part of the job of a correctional officer, not the guard. So I wanted to make that clear. You know, he felt that by continuing to call myself a guard, that I was continuing the stereotype, you know, the guy that just stands around with a rifle at the top of the wall, and he'd take a bribe and bring in drugs, and hey man, I need to sneak out a letter, would you take a bribe? Sure, I'm a guard. Well, he felt that that's what, by using the word guard, I was perpetuating that. So, you know, even in my early days of USP Marion, when we really had no mission for rehabilitation, we didn't just stand around and you know, hold our rifles on the fence or on the walls or something. We knew even then that chances were that some of our inmates, no matter how long their sentence were, that they would end up back out onto the streets, and we wanted to either make sure that they really were able to go back out onto the streets, or they ended up serving another term for the crimes that they were committing while currently inside. In that same vein of community policing, we do cooperate with the local law enforcement. I knew a guy, he is a self-taught gang expert, learned it in prison. He gives speeches seminars to the local police department about their gang problems. He has some very serious inside information. I like to jokingly say that, that we're the scum of law enforcement or the Roddy Danger field of cops, and that we get no respect. There's some truth to this. I've been a police officer and I've been a correctional officer, and I can tell you that most cops have no idea what goes on behind the fence. I normally talk to them about, experiences I've had on the streets when I'm talking to the small town cop. And I like to do this so that they can relate to me, because once a year I am interacting with them because I have to take a test so that I can carry my firearm since I'm now retired. So I ended up taking a test with all the other retired cops. Now, funny, talking about the Roddy Danger field of police and we get no respect, one of the times that I went to this test, the guy from the state police that was giving it explained to me, I don't know why he felt he needed to do this, but he explained to me that, if it was up to me and my buddies here, you guys wouldn't even be here because we don't see you as law enforcement. It's like, yeah, okay, that's great. And I don't know why he had to explain that to me, but that he felt that it was necessary to do that. This whole attitude of, you're the scum of law enforcement was driven home by, the Illinois State Trooper Hoyle of District 19. I got a video about this incident called "I Was Arrested," and if you care to watch it. During this contact I told him I had a firearm in the vehicle, and he said I had to go to jail from felonies, and it's like I was impersonating a cop or something, and he just felt that it was totally out of whack that I was carrying a firearm. And when he learned by calling my supervisor that I actually could carry a firearm, it was just more than the man could stand. He was beside himself, threatened that he was going to go to court, get a warrant for my arrest, and arrest me for carrying that firearm. And he was going to go ahead and keep it. And I told him, nope, I'm going to jail. And to make a long story short, he ended up having to give me back my firearm. And I never did have a warrant sworn out for my arrest. That was all bogus because we are law enforcement officers. So the entire point of this video, it's true that I use the term guard when describing my job. I do so because it's just the common term that the public uses. Most people on the outside of my profession have no idea what I do or how it affects them. I call police officers cops too, so it's no meaning of disrespect to anyone. I call correctional officers guards. And it's true that it's a slang term, but it is in common use. And to all the federal officers and correctional officers, I mean no disrespect to anybody. Nobody knows how hard you work than me. And I understand of being the target of disrespect. Believe me. The rest of my videos will be about history, so you can understand the present and predict the future, as my supervisor would tell me that the use of knowing your history is. And just like I used to report my observations to my old supervisor, now I'm reporting to you for the same reason, so that you can use this information to predict the future, to protect yourself. Or in some people's cases, like me, I'm just a history buff and I like to hear a lot of things about history. So, if you like this episode, then don't be an ass, hit the like button down there, will ya? And, subscribe. Would it kill you?